All right. I feel like they should have a star. Oh, look it. I could have just done this. That would have been so much better. That's quite embarrassing how bad that is. There you go. So here's your shape. I'll put in my marks here. So all of these are congruent. And these angles. So tell me all three of these things. I'm just going to give you about 2 minutes. So Adrian, do you know how to name a shape by the number of sides?
Yeah, it's 10 sides, so is it a decagon?
Yes, decagon. 10-sided. Is this shape concave or convex, Alexandra? Alexandra, is this concave or convex? Amanda, can you help her out?
It's concave.
Yes, it's concave because it's like that little entrance to the cave right here, right? This is that angle that is more than 180 degrees. Regular or irregular? Ben, is this regular or irregular? Ben, do you have this one, regular or irregular? Brooke, can you help Ben out? Regular or irregular?
Irregular.
Yes, it's irregular because of that angle that I just drew in red, right? So that angle is not the same. So this is an irregular shape. So you'll see definitely a question like that on the test. Any questions? All right, you could also see something that says, find the sum of the interior angle measures of a convex non-agon. And then I'll go over here and write one more for you. So remember, this is part of your 8 points. So this is the big part of the test. Questions like this. So you should be circling here. We're looking for the sum of the interior angle, and then think to yourself, interior angle, that sum is n minus 2 times 180, right? And then it's of a convex nonagon, and here you should know that n is equal to 9. So now you just substitute it into your equation. 9 minus 2 times 180 to find the sum. Now I have to use my calculator. So 180 times 7 gives us 1,160 degrees. For number 2, it says find the measure of each interior angle. Because it says each interior angle, and I'm going to highlight that. Ooh, I forgot something here. Can you guys, if you didn't put this in, put in regular? It needs to be regular. Find the measure of each angle of a regular pentagon. So if we're looking at each interior angle, it's still going to be that formula n minus 2 times 180, but because we're finding each angle, it's going to be divided by n. And then we go down here and we're looking at a regular pentagon, and a pentagon is 5-sided. So now we use the formula. 5 minus 2 times 180, and we're finding each angle, so we're going to divide by 5. So in the numerator, we'll have 540. In the denominator is 5. So that means each angle is going to be 108 degrees. All right, you could also find something that says you have some kind of quadrilateral here. Oh, it's not a quad. It's not a. So in a problem like this, you could say this could be a 3-point question where it says, write the equation to solve for x. Then it would say, find s, and then find the measure of angle F. So that would be a 3-point question here. So Gabby, did you come up with an equation yet for this to solve for s?
No, I don't really remember how to do any of this.
Okay, so this is going to be very similar to like these two, because we're talking about the sum of interior angles. So we're looking at interior angles. So if we look at this, how many sides does this figure have?
6.
Yep, I agree. So if I'm going to find the sum of them, which means I add them all up, I have to do 6 minus 2 times 180. Okay?
Mhm.
So let's calculate that first.
It's
180.
720.
720. Okay.
Mhm.
So that means what we just kind of pulled that from just this stuff before. That means if I add these all up, I'm going to get a total of 720. So on the test, when it says write an equation, you're just simply going to say 5s plus, I'm just starting here, 8s plus 7s plus 5s, 8s, 7s, all of these added together is going to give us 720 degrees. So that's what I would want to see in for your equation. I'll give you guys a little bit more time to solve for S and to find F. Can you guys confirm if you got 40 for that when you added those all up? Did I do that right?
I got 40.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I got 42.
Good. Thank you. So that means S is 18, right? So that would be your, this is 1 point here. This would be 1 point here. And then your last is actually calculating what F is. Well, F is 5 times S, and S we know is 18. So you should get 90 degrees. And then maybe down. All right, any questions there so far? I think that will be kind of it for your 3 questions and 8 points.
I have one question.
Yeah,
Can you go back to the question you were on?
yeah, sorry. Oops. Ah, okay.
How did you find the third part?
This one right here, F.
Yeah.
So the measure of angle F, so if you look over here, right, here's F. F is 5S. So I take 5S, and then I know that from number 2, S is 18. So I put that in for S. And I get 5 times 18, which is 90.
Oh, okay.
And you could also do that for, you know, if it asked you to find the measure of A, right? Then you would say that's 8S, and then you 8 times 18, and so on. All right, any other questions here? Just knowing that this is a pretty big portion of your test. So make sure you spend quite a bit of time on those interior angles. I can grab, you know what I'll do? I'll grab your packet so I can look at questions from your review. So the interior angle ones that you should spend a lot of time on from your review is part 2. So this is part 2 in the review. Make sure you can do 1 through 4. These are the interior angles. And we're going to go on to now some exterior angle stuff. All right, so some exterior angle stuff could look like this. Try and get it really quick. That could be one question. I'll find another one for you. All right. We have 3 minutes here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What question are we doing right now?
You can do both of them. I'm going to go over them in about, I have my timer set in a minute. I was for question 1 and question 2. Just wanted to give you some time to try it.
Wait, so we're doing question 1 and question 2 on part 2?
Okay. Oh, I see why you're confused. So what I wrote right here, this is from your review packet. This is the problems that practice interior angles. This is what I was just telling you from the review. Like if you wanted more practice with these problems right here that we just did, 1, 2, and this one, in your review, part 2, 1 through 4 are similar problems to what we just did.
Okay.
Yeah, and then what I'm going to pick different problems from your review packet, and then I'm going to point out similar problems. So now we're going to do some exterior angle problems, and I'll show you in your packet where those show up again to practice.
All right.
Okay, so you should circle here. Now we're moving on to exterior angles. And the sum of exterior angles is always 360 degrees, okay? And we're finding each exterior angle, so we're gonna end up dividing it by the number of sides. Well, it's a regular quadrilateral. Quadrilateral means 4 sides. So we take 360, we divide it by 4, and each exterior angle is going to be 90 degrees. Now for this problem, it's going to be something similar because they are in the exterior. These are all exterior angles again because they're on the outside. So that means all the sum is going to be 360. So when you're looking at an equation, I would want to see 4r plus 7r plus 5r plus 8r is equal to that sum, which is 360. So noticing that these are on the outside, so they'll always be 360. Then to solve for r, I would get 9 plus, I better, good. I get 24r equals 360. Then I divide by 24. And I get r to be 15. So any questions here? So now looking back at our review, I'll try to go back to the review, our review packet, to find some problems that are similar to exterior angles. So the problems that we just did would also be on part 2. And that would be number 5 and 6. Those are dealing with exterior angles. All right, I'm going to make up a few more problems here for parallelograms now. Since you have some stuff on parallelograms. Okay. So here's your parallelogram. Diagonals. All right. Give you another 3 minutes to get this one started. Got another minute and we'll go through it. All right, so I'm going to start off by always labeling the diagram. So when you get a problem like this in the test, you should make sketch on your paper, because remember, you get points for stuff on your paper that has to be turned in. So ABC, this whole angle here is 79 degrees. B to C, this length is 62.4. And B to D is 75. I'll put that in another color. B to D is 75. All right. Well, if B to D is 75, then B to E, since these diagonals bisect each other, then I know it's going to be half of 75. So I take 75 and I divide it by 2. Half of 75 is 37.5. Next, it asks us to find AD. Well, AD is that parallel side to BC, so AD is also 62.4. And ED is the same distance as BE. These two are equivalent. They're bisected. So that means that ED is also 37.5. The next thing it asks for is the measure of CDA. CDA, this measure. Well, in parallelograms, the opposite angles are congruent. So this is also 79 degrees. And then the measure of BCD. BCD. Okay, this is really important for you guys to know that consecutive angles here, consecutive angles are supplementary. So I'm going to put it in here. They are supplementary. So that means 75 plus whatever that measure of BCD is has to equal 180 degrees. So that means that BCD, oops, I changed it to 70. It should be 79. Couldn't read my writing. This is a 9. So that means if this is 79, then I know if I subtract 79 from both sides, that the measure of BCD is 101 degrees. So I'll give you a minute to ask a question there. We're going to do one more parallelogram one. So here's another parallelogram. I'll start labeling it. This is b plus 6, 5b minus 8. All right, I'll give you another here. So Katie Shanley, do you have an equation to solve for B?
Yeah, I did b plus 6 is equal to 5b minus 8.
Yeah, since it's a parallelogram, those sides are equal. So I'll bring my B over and I'll bring my 8 over. 6, 8, 9, 10, 14. So we end up with a decimal, right? So we get 14 divided by 4, 3.5 for B. All right, we have to be a little bit careful with C, write an equation to solve for A. Does anyone want to take a shot at that one? See if they got it right. What equation would we use to solve for A? These are representing degrees here.
Do you add them up and equal it to 360?
Yeah. Oh, close. Add them up and equal them to,
180.
yes, 180, because they're supplementary. So one thing you could have done, Monse, is you could have said that this is 6A and this is 14A. And if you did 14A plus 14A plus 6A plus 6A, then you could equal 360. But knowing just that these two are supplementary, we can set them equal to 180. And then I end up with A being 9. All right, so that's for parallelograms. I'm gonna go back to your review and tell you which ones to focus on for the parallelogram part. For parallelograms, I would focus on problems. So in part 3, make sure you do 1 through 7. Number 10. And 11 would probably be a good one too. All right. We have trapezoids. Let's go to trapezoids.
Could you go back real quick so I can write down the last thing for the review? Like what?
There you go.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to do 2 problems here. So for this first one, you are going to find the measure of angle R and the measure of angle S, given this trapezoid here. It's an isosceles trapezoid. These two are equal. This is 54. R, S, T, U. All right. Maybe just another, I'm only going to do 2 minutes for this one. Okay, with an isosceles trapezoid, the base angles are congruent. So if this is 54, and then this one is also 54, which means the measure of angle S is 54. And then we have consecutive angles, these guys right here that are next to each other. And both of those consecutive angles are supplementary, okay? So if we're gonna try to find the measure of R, then we would say that 54 degrees plus the measure of R equals 180 degrees. Then I can subtract 54 from both sides, and I get the measure of R to be 126 degrees. And then with our trapezoid, the one other thing was the median. Our median is made by averaging our two bases. We took base 1 plus base 2, we divide it by 2, and we get our median. So it's just averaging those two bases. And since it's connected here at the midpoint on both sides, to find MN, also known as our median, we're going to take 67 and 30 and divide it by 2. So we get 48.5 for MN. All right, we're gonna go back to your review and figure out which ones to focus on for those. So for your review of trapezoids.
Oh, 1 second. Can you go back to the question that you were on?
Yep. Oops. Okay, for the trapezoid one, make sure that you do, this is part 6 now. I'm jumping all the way to part 6. You want to make sure for part 6 that you do number 1, 2, and 3. 1 through 3. 5. I think that would be okay. You could maybe do 6 if you wanted to too. Okay, we have kite left. I'm just going to throw this up here so in case we run out of time. Make sure for part 7 on the kite that you do number 1. And I'm going to squeeze up here because I didn't mention geometric terms.
Miss Flynn.
Yeah.
So we have to do we have to do those and then turn it in.
That's correct.
Okay.
So these are the ones that you for sure need to do.
Okay.
So if you're trying to focus your study on the review packet, because it's quite lengthy, and if you didn't start any of it over break, it can seem like a lot. So here are the problems that you should for sure get done and focus on and really know for the test tomorrow. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And then I'm going to do one more kite problem with you guys before we go, so that you know what to expect for the kite.
So those are the only problems we have to turn in.
So I would like you to do all of the review, but if you didn't get started over break, there's no way that you're going to, I mean, you're not going to spend 4 hours doing the review. So if you haven't started it yet, make sure that you get all of this done right here.
Oh, got it.
Like this is like the area of focus. Anything that you do above and beyond that is great, but these problems you should really make sure to do to be prepared for tomorrow.
Try to do that.
Okay. The last problem we want to do is a tight line. Let's see. Make sure I get something different that's okay, here we
Oh, that is not a kite. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? It's a great kite. Okay, that's perfect. Here you go. A, B, C, D. All right, there you go. Running short of time, so I'm gonna give you a minute. All right, here we go. When I talked to you guys about doing these problems, I said use the triangle sum. So break it into your 4 right triangles and just start solving all the angles before you move on. So if I look here, I have 180 equals 90 plus, I have this 52 here. 52 plus some other angle up here that I don't know. So if I solve for that one first, I get 38 degrees. So this is 38. Now we know that triangles or kites are symmetric. So this is also 38 and this is 52. So we're almost halfway there. Now this diagonal bisects this angle. So if this is 54, here's 27 and 27. And now we do that triangle thing again. So we have 180 equals 27 plus 90 plus our missing angle. And I get 63 degrees. And then this is symmetric, so 63 over here. And once you have that all filled in, then you can answer the questions. B, C, D is this entire angle here. So that means it's going to be 38 plus 38, including both of these. So 38. So this is 76 degrees. A, B, C is going to be the 63 and 52, which is 115 degrees. And then F, D, A, we already found, that's 63 degrees. All right, guys, we did it just in time. 1 minute to spare. That's really your test in an hour. So hopefully it gives you a good idea of what to expect, practice. I'll post all this online for you too. Good luck studying.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.